Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining this morning. I was getting worried because and I was a late night last night, nursing the she. Hope you had fun and yeah, great program. So anyway, thank you for joining. Let's make a start. Radha Madhav. Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jayo Giravardhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jayo Giravardhari Yashodanandan Vrajya Janaranjana Yashodanandan Vrajya Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Om Agyan Timirhasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chukshurunmiltam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Staptam Yena Bhutale Samrupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavcha Shri Rupam Sagrijatam Sagana Raghunatham Nitam Tam Sajivam Sadhuvetam Savadutam Krishna Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shivishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kant Radha Kant Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavan Eshwari Rishabhanu Sutadevi Pranmami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatabhyascha Kripa Sindhuvevicha Paditana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmad-Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasdi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Mukham Kroti Vachalam Pangum Langyate Grim Yat Kirpata Mandashi Guntarnam Premananda Madhvam Shititanya Ishram Hari Om Tassat Naram Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Sasviti Vyasam Tato Jamaduriyat Nashta Presha Abdureshu Nityam Bhagavad-Sevayā Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhagavati Neshtiki Hare Krishna. So thank you very much. Let's go on to Shloka. Stop sharing. So we'll do Shloka 12 to 16 hopefully. And Shloka 12. Nishkarmyam api achyutabhap virjitam na shobhate jnanam alam nirinjanam Kutha puna shashvad avdaram ishvare na chapitam karma yad api akaranam. So, neshkarmyam, self-realization, being freed from the reactions of fruity work, api, in spite of, achyuta, the infallible Lord, bhava, conception, virjitam, devoid of, na, does not, shobhate, look well, jnanam, transcendental knowledge, alam, by and by, niranjanam, free from designations, kutaha, where is, punaha, again, shashvat, always, abdaram, uncongenial, ishvare, unto the Lord, na, not, cha, and, apitam, offered, karma, fruitive work, yatapi, what is, akaranam, not fruitive. So, knowledge of self-realization, even though free from all material affinity, does not look well if devoid of a conception of the infallible God. What then is the use of fruity activities, which are naturally painful from the very beginning and transient by nature, if they are not utilized for devotional service of the Lord? So, as we were saying last time, that everything is worthless, all knowledge is worthless, all activity is worthless, unless God is included in there, because everything is meant to be for God's service. And knowledge of self-realization, even though free from all material infinity. So spiritually we know we are a spirit soul, but then if we don't know what's the connection with God, then what is the point of being spiritual? Has on its own, it has no meaning, has no worth. So, as referred to above, not only ordinary literatures devoid of transcendental glorification of the Lord are condemned, but also Vedic literatures and speculations on the subject of impersonal Brahman, when they are devoid of devotional service. When speculation on the impersonal Brahman is condemned on the above ground, then what to speak of ordinary ordinary fruity work, which is not meant to fulfill the aim of devotional service? Such speculative knowledge and fruity work cannot lead one to the goal of perfection. Fruity work, in which almost all people in general are engaged, is always painful either in the beginning or at the end. It can be fruitful only when made subservient to the devotional service of the Lord. In the Bhagavad-Gita also it is confirmed that the result of such fruity work may be offered for the service of the Lord, otherwise it leads to material bondage. The bona fide enjoyer of the fruity work is the personality of Godhead, and thus when it is engaged for the sense gratification of the living beings, it becomes an acute source of trouble. And we all know that, because for one, it's transient, it's temporary. So we want things to last because we are eternal. We expect everything to be eternal, but they don't last. And the more we attach to something, the more pain we feel afterwards. So you should not. These attachments are dangerous, and bondage is dangerous because it keeps bringing us back again and again. So everything should be done as an offering to the Lord. And so he says, if we are not having an emotional connection with the Supreme Lord, then it's not beneficial. Detached work, which is like nishkam work, is more beneficial than attached work, even having no designations. These are not fruitful unless connected with the Supreme Lord. So talk about fruitful work itself, which Vyasadeva propounded in the Vedas. So that's the reason we're discussing this, because now when he told Vyasadeva that people are already struggling with fruity work, they're getting bondage in the birth, life, old age, disease, and they're having problems because they find that these things are not permanent, and yet you have make things worse by giving them more ideas, how to entertain themselves with fruity work. So that that was not going down too well. Anyway, next one. Ato mahabhaga bhavanmoga drik shuchi sharva satya rato drita vrata uru kramasya khila bandhamukte samadhina samartad viche shititam. Atho, therefore, Mahabhag, highly fortunate. Bhavan, yourself, Amogadrik, the perfect seer. Shuchi, spotless. Sharvaha, famous. Satya Ratha, having taken the vow of truthfulness. Drita Vrataha, fixed in spiritual qualities. Uru Kramasya, of the one who performs supernatural activities. Akhila, universal bondage, mukte, for liberation from. Samadhina, by trance. Anu, samar, think repeatedly, and then describe them. Tat vicheshititam, various pastimes of the Lord. So, O Vyasadeva, your vision is completely perfect. Your good fame is spotless. You are firm in vow and situated in truthfulness. And thus you can think of the pastime of the Lord in trance for the liberation of the people in general from all material bondage. So this is the thing that, as I was saying last time, that pastimes of the Lord are not, because the Lord loves to just do pastimes for the sake. He does it to purify us, because if we can relate to his pastimes, then we can become purified, because everything about him is absolute. His pastimes, all the knowledge about Krishna, his form, his paraphernalia is absolute, and we get the same effect. So people in general have a taste for literatures by instinct. They want to hear and read from authorities something about the unknown, but their taste is exploited by unfortunate literatures which are full of subject matter for satisfaction of the material senses. Such literatures contain different kinds of mundane poems and philosophical speculations, more or less under the influence of Maya, ending in sense gratification. These literatures, although worthless in the true sense of the term, are variously decorated to attract the attention of the less intelligent men. Thus, the attracted living entities are more and more entangled in material bondage without hope of liberation for thousands and thousands of generations. Srila Rishi, being the best amongst the Vaishnavas, is compassionate towards such unfortunate victims of worthless literatures. And thus he advises Sri Vyasadeva to compose transcendental literature which is not only attractive but can also actually bring liberation from all kinds of bondage. So no harm in literature being attractive, but what is the benefit? There has to be some benefit. If you're eating tasty food, it's not doing you any good, just causing you health issues, then what is the point of having tasty food? It should be nourishing as well. So Srila Vyasadeva or his representatives are qualified because they are rightly trained to see things in true perspective. Srila Vyasadeva and his representatives are pure in thought due to their spiritual enlightenment, fixed in their vows due to their devotional service, and determined to deliver the fallen souls rotting in material activities. The fallen souls are very eager to receive novel informations every day, and the transcendentalists like Vyasadeva or Narad can supply such eager people in general with unlimited news from the spiritual world. In the Bhagavad-Gita, it is said that material world is only a part of the whole creation, and that this earth is only a fragment of the whole material world. So this earth, we talk about this earth, we talk about this universe, this is the fragment of the material world even. There are thousands and thousands of literary men all over the world, and they have created many, many thousands of literary works for the information of the people in general for thousands and thousands of years. Unfortunately, none of them have brought peace and tranquility on the earth. This is due to a spiritual vacuum in those literatures. Therefore, the Vedic literature, especially Bhagavad-Gita and Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, are specifically recommended to suffering humanity to bring about the desired effect of liberation from the pangs of material civilization, which is eating the vital part of human energy. The Bhagavad-Gita is a spoken message of the Lord himself recorded by Vyasadeva, and the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is a transcendental narration of the activities of the same Lord Krishna. So Bhagavatam is the activities and Bhagavad-Gita is the message, which alone can satisfy the hankering desires of the living being for eternal peace and liberation from miseries. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam therefore is meant for all the living beings all over the universe for total liberation from all kinds of material bondage. Such transcendental narrations of pastimes of the Lord can be described only by liberated souls like Vyasadeva and his bona fide representatives who are completely merged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Only to such devotees to the pastimes of the Lord and the transcendental nature become automatically manifest by dint of devotional service. No one else can either know or describe the acts of the Lord. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. So by service you can know the Lord. Even if they speculate on the subject for many, many years, the descriptions of the Bhagavatam are so precise and accurate that whatever has been predicted in this great literature about 5,000 years ago is now exactly happening. Therefore, the vision of the author comprehends past, present, and future. Such liberated person as Vyasadeva are perfect not only by the power of vision and wisdom, but also in oral reception, in thinking, feeling, and all other sense activities. A liberated person possesses perfect senses, and with perfect senses only can one serve the sense proprietor, Rishikesha, Sri Krishna, the personality Godhead. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, therefore, is the perfect description of the all-perfect personality Godhead by the all-perfect personality Srila Vyasadeva, the compiler of the Vedas. So Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is given so much glorification that is perfect. So we are fortunate that we are hearing, we are reading this, and it has gross effects and it has subtle effects that we don't understand, we don't realize straight away, but it really has effect on our thinking, on our consciousness. So glories of Krishna are unlimited, so there is no lack. Newspapers can produce news every day. Srila Prabhupada in his purport glorify the Supreme Personality Godhead. Srila Prabhupada was not bothered about numbers, how many people are there. He just focuses on glorifying Krishna. So, Srila Prabhupada, when he started, as didn't have many followers at the beginning, but divine intervention, divine empowerment, he conquered the world. And this is the power of the great literature. This is the power of the divine. And so people started understanding the message through Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and Bhagavad-Gita, and they were attracted to it. Excuse me. Tato nyatha kinchan yad vivakshta prathik darshas tat krita rupanamabhi na krichit kvapi cha duhsita matir labate vathata no ivasapadam Tatha, from that, anyatha, apart, kinchan, something, yat, whatsoever, vivakshata, desiring to describe, pratik, separately, drisha, vision, tatkrita, reactionary to that, rupa, form, namabhi, by names, na krihichit, never, kvapi, any, cha, and dushita, dushtita, mathi, oscillating mind, labita, gains, vat, ahat, troubled by the wind, naho, boat, eva, like, aspadam, place. So whatever you desire to describe that is separate in vision from the Lord simply reacts with different forms, names and results to agitate the mind as the wind agitates a boat which has no resting place. So Srila Vyasadeva is the editor of all descriptions of the Vedic literatures, and thus he has described transcendental realizations in different ways, namely by fruit activities, speculative knowledge, mystic power, and devotional service. Besides that, in his various Puranas, he has recommended the worship of so many demigods in different forms and names. The result is that people in general are puzzled how to fix their minds in the service of the Lord. They are always disturbed by finding the real path of self-realization. Srila Naradev is stressing this particular defect in the Vedic literatures compiled by Vyasadeva. So I just want to read that again. He has described transcendental realization in different ways, namely by fruit activities, speculative knowledge, mystic power, and devotional service. But that's not then pure service if they are mixed with mystic power and speculative knowledge and fruit activities. So Srila Naradev is stressing this particular defect in the Vedic literatures compiled by Vyasadeva, and thus he is trying to emphasize describing everything in relation with the Supreme Lord and no one else. In fact, there is nothing existent except the Lord. The Lord is manifested in different expansions. So we are also his expansions, we are his marginal energy. There is only the Lord, and everything else that's living and even non-living comes from the Lord. He is the source of everything, living and unliving, moving and non-moving. He is the root of the complete tree. He is the stomach of the complete body. Pouring water on the root is the right process to water the tree, as much as feeding the stomach supplies energy to all parts of the body. Therefore, Srila Vyasadeva should not have compiled any Puranas other than the Bhagavad Puran, because a slight deviation from that may create havoc for self-realization. If a slight deviation can create such havoc, then what to speak of deliberate expansion of the ideas separate from the absolute truth, personally regarded. The most effective part of worshiping demigod is that it creates a definite conception of pantheism, ending disastrously in many religious sects, detrimental to the progress of principles of Bhagavatam, which alone can give the accurate direction for the self-realization in eternal relation with the person regarded by devotional service in transcendental love. The example of the boat disturbed by a whirling wind is suitable in this respect. The diverted mind of the pantheist can never reach the perfection of self-realization due to disturbed condition of the selection of object. So most people, even other religions are confused that why we have so many gods when there is only one God. Somebody is worshipping this God, somebody else worship that God, and they are sticking to it. They won't move. So I'm a follower of such God and such God, such God, and they're like gods in the mode of goodness, gods in the mode of passion, gods in the mode of ignorance. So it's pretty confusing for people, and who do you go for? I guess there's so much choice to choose from, but who, and then sometimes they keep changing around. One minute they're worshiping this, then they're worshiping that. So it's pretty bewildering. So our intelligence is compared to a matchbox in the ocean compared to Krishna's knowledge. We cannot compare ourselves, just like we can't measure the ocean, we can't measure Krishna's intelligence. Krishna arranged for Vyasadeva to write the Vedas. That way we would compare and appreciate the Bhagavatam, otherwise we may not have appreciated it. So there you go, there's one reason here, that it says Krishna arranged for Vyasadeva to write the Vedas, so he can bewilder anyone, right? Because Vyasadeva, he self-realized, he knew everything, but yet he got bewildered and wrote the Vedas. That way we could compare and appreciate the Bhagavatam. Otherwise, if you have no comparisons, between big and small, tall and small, fat and thin, like that, rich and poor, sweet and sour, sweet and salty. If you can't compare that, then you can't appreciate. You cannot appreciate, that what is good and what is not so good. There's no comparison. So there has to be comparison. So Krishna got Vyasadeva to write the Vedas, and then he says, see, this is what I've been saying, that Krishna could have told him earlier. He did all that work, and then says, no. There's something wrong. You need to do a bit more here, or you haven't given the essence, or you haven't really hit the nail on the head. So like that, and but it's Krishna's enemy. Krishna very intelligent, as just like we had Nrsimha Chaturdashi yesterday. Now Hiranyakashipu thought he was very intelligent. He thought he covered all the corners, he covered all the loops by saying that he wants this boon, that nobody can kill him, and we know the pastimes, so I don't want to go into that. He thought I'd covered everything, but he's not intelligent as Krishna, because when Krishna allows a boon to happen, then he also knows that this person is going to deviate sooner or later, so he has the antidote for that. And Krishna arranges coming half human, half animal, and the rest, it wasn't day, it wasn't night. Krishna, he already can think higher than the person who wants the boon, and he also is ready with the weapon to sort him out when he deviates. So yeah, he's the most intelligent. He knows what he wants from everyone. He knows what he wants from us. Sometimes we are confused. So I think we just have to persevere. We have to focus and ask Krishna, what do you really want from us? Because we know that intelligent. We get confused, we get bewildered. Krishna, what do you want us to do? Please guide us, tell us, what would you like us to do? So amazing. Yugupasitam dharma krite nushasta sabhava raktasya mahan vyati karma yad vyakito dharma ititha sutito namanyate tasya nirvanam janha. Jugupsitam, verily condemned, dharam krite, for the matter of religion, anushasata, instruction, sabhava raktasya, naturally inclined, mahan, great, vyati karma, unreasonable, yat vakyatha, under whose instruction, dharma, religion, iti, it is thus, itraha, the people in general, stitha, fixed, do not, manyate, think, tasya, of that, nirvanam, prohibition, jana, they. So the people in general are naturally inclined to enjoy, and you have encouraged them in that way in the name of religion. This is verily condemned and is quite unreasonable, because they are guided under your instructions. They will accept such activities in the name of religion and will hardly care for prohibitions. So he's given a free ticket to enjoy. So Srila Vyasadeva, compilation of different Vedic literatures on the basis of regulated performances of fruitic activities, are depicted in the Mahabharata and other literature is condemned here by Srila Narada. The human beings, by long material association, life after life, have a natural inclination by practice to endeavor to lord it over material energy. So that comes natural to us anyway. They have no sense of the responsibility of human life. This human form of life is a chance to get out of the clutches of illusory matter. The Vedas are meant for going back to Godhead, going back home, to revolve in the cycle of transmigration in a series of lives numbering 8.4 million is an imprisoned life for the condemned conditioned souls. The human form life is a chance to get out of this imprisoned life, and as such, the only occupation of the human being is to re-establish his lost relationship with God. Under the circumstances, one should never be encouraged in making a plan for sense enjoyment in the name of religious functions. Such diversion of the human energy results in misguided civilization. Srila Vyasadeva is authority in Vedic explanations in the Mahabharata, etc., and his encouragement in sense enjoyment in some form or other is a great barrier for spiritual advancement, because people in general will not agree to renounce material activities which hold them in material bondage. So whatever good men do, others follow. So Vyasadeva is authority, and if he says this is okay, then people think, yeah, it must be okay, and they will follow that. At a certain stage of human civilization, when such material activities in the name of religion, as sacrificing animals in the name of yajna, were too much rampant, the Lord incarnated himself as Buddha and decreed the authority of the Vedas in order to stop animal sacrifice in the name of religion. Thus, this was foreseen by Narad, and therefore he condemned such literatures. The flesh eaters still continued to perform animal sacrifice before some demigod or goddess in the name of religion, because in some of the Vedic literatures, such regulated sacrifices are recommended. So it's very dangerous, what you are telling people, what you're preaching, what you're writing, because many people, if they look up to you, they will follow that. So you have a responsibility to society. If you are respected, then you have a responsibility to give the right information. They are so recommended to discourage flesh eating, but gradually the purpose of such religious activity is forgotten. So it becomes corrupted. So forget religion, just enjoy the meat like that. We humans are very good at improvising things that suit us. We will take what we like and leave out what we don't like. And slaughterhouse becomes prominent. This is because foolish materialistic men do not care to listen to others who are actually in a position to explain the Vedic rites. In the Vedas, it is distinctly said that the perfection of life is never to be attained either by voluminous work or by accumulation of wealth or even by increase in the population. But it is so attained only by renunciation. The materialistic men do not care to listen to such injunctions. According to them, the so-called renounced order of life is meant for those who are unable to earn their livelihood because of some corporeal defects, or for persons who have failed to achieve prosperity in family life. Okay, so the so-called renounced order of life is meant for those who are unable to earn their livelihood or who have failed prosperity. So basically they're saying that's for losers. This is not for exalted people, self-realized people. It's for people, who really failed in life. In histories like the Mahabharata, of course, there are topics on transcendental subjects along with material topics. The Bhagavad-Gita is there in the Mahabharata. The whole idea of the Mahabharata culminates in the ultimate instructions of the Bhagavad-Gita, that one should relinquish all other engagements and should engage oneself solely and fully in surrendering onto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. But men with the materialistic tendencies are more attracted to politics, economics, philanthropic activities mentioned in the Mahabharata than to the principal topic, namely the Bhagavad-Gita. Yeah, you get people, they speak politics all day. You start a topic and they will go on and on, but when it comes to spiritual topic, they really have nothing to say. This compromised spirit of Vyasadeva is directly condemned by Narad, who advises him to directly proclaim that the prime necessity of human life is to realize one's eternal relation with the Lord and to surrender unto him without delay. A patient suffering from a particular type of malady is almost always inclined to accept eatables which are forbidden for him. The expert physician does not make any compromise with the patient by allowing him to take partially what he should not at all take. In the Bhagavad-Gita, it is also said that a man attached to fruitive work should not be discouraged from his occupation, for gradually he may be elevated to the position of self-realization. This is sometimes applicable for those who are only dry empiric philosophers without spiritual realization, but those who are in the devotional line need not be always so advised. Okay, so 15. So it says that if the knowledge of the Vedas is not given with proper guidance, it can be misunderstood and it's dangerous. Vyasadeva gave the Vedas because people are on different levels. His idea was to slowly direct them according to their propensity closer to the Supreme Lord. Those who want perfection very quickly, they want to become swans from crows. This way, Narada is benedicting Vyasadeva to give us Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So this is why I'm saying here, a patient suffering from a particular type of malady is almost always inclined to accept eatable which are forbidden for him. So, that's like the easy option. The expert physician does not make any compromise with the patient by allowing him to take partially what he should not take at all. So this is what Narad Muni is saying, that I understand what he's saying, Vyasadeva, that not everybody is on the same level, and they really, so let's elevate them slowly, let's, get them into the Vedas, and then we can build it up, from ignorance, passion to goodness, and then, if possible, further. But Narad Muni is saying, no, that's not a good idea. Let's turn the crows into swans. Let's not, work on this in a slow process, especially in the Kali Yuga, as we know. We don't have that much time that we can elevate slowly. We have to, don't take the staircase, take the lift, as we have been given by Srila Prabhupada. Just to see the last one. Okay, all right, let's quickly go. Or should we leave this for next time? Yeah, I think we'll stop here. It's 8:41. So let's discuss this. 15. So just to mention that if the knowledge of the Vedas is not given with proper guidance, it can be understood and dangerous. And the other thing was, Vyasadeva is seen as an authority, and if he condones fruity activity, then people will see that as religion. Which we've said that if he thinks is okay, then other people will follow. And objective in the Vedas is material happiness, not Krishna. This is the problem with the Vedas, that it's encouraging people to take material happiness, which we want to avoid. Not because that causes bondage in this material world. We don't want to be stuck in the material world. We want to go where we should be going, in the spiritual realm. So, but the Vedas are encouraging people to stay in the material world, which is wrong. And even marriage, drinking and meat eating, etc., are given in the Shastra, is condemned by Narad. We are not here to enjoy. So these things are also well, meat eating, drinking, and even marriage, it says here, is condemned. But then again, the idea, if marriage is done for for sense gratification, yes, then it's wrong. But if Srila Prabhupada explains to us that if marriage is there to bring up children and we can train them into Krishna consciousness, so we're helping other souls to become Krishna conscious. That is a good thing. And if the husband and wife can grow together, spiritually grow together, that is also a good thing. But if the marriage is just for sense gratification, then there will be a lot of problems in marriage and a lot of breakups happen. So everything, even marriage, used in the service of the Lord can only be a good thing. And this is why we started this reading, that use everything in the service of the Lord, and then it becomes good, otherwise it just remains mundane. So thank you so much. Let's hear from yourselves. Hina Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you very much for the class, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So for me, the key things from these verses were around how the Lord is the only enjoyer, and he's the recipient of all yagnas that are performed. And I should not try to be or pretend to be the enjoyer, as it only causes us pain. I also made some notes around how important Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Bhagavad-Gita is, and how these literatures play such an important part in helping fallen souls in general, and how they highlight that it's only through some devotional service when one is able to understand these texts. It has nothing to do with one's level of intelligence, etc. I mean, a scholar could study these books, but they're still not going to attain devotional service, essentially. And how the Bhagavatam was written by Vyasadeva to establish that Krishna is supreme over other gods and demigods, and other gods and demigods are not on the same level. They are subservient to Krishna, and then this truth seems to get lost, I think, in general Hinduism, and in some parts of India, very much this is common practice that there's multiple gods, etc., or they're the same, or at the same level, which they're not. And then I've also noted down how men in general are inclined to want to enjoy the material world due to Maya, due to past conditioning, and they've forgotten the real goal of life, which is to achieve love of God. And the role of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Bhagavad-Gita, it tries to, through the various leelas in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, reveals to us the spiritual truths that help us evolve and help us go back home, back to Godhead. So, thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you for your points. Praveen Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you. That was for now. Yes, like Mataji said, like Krishna is the only enjoyer, but what we see in material life, everybody is like, I want to enjoy happiness. These are the only things that everybody's after, but we know there is no true happiness. It's all temporary. People do feel like, going to a restaurant, going to cinema, they're finding happiness, but there is no true happiness. So when we are engaged in service of Krishna, and that's where we find the true happiness. So when we enjoy the prasad and glorifying Lord, that's where, because I can relate to my experience now, how different it is from before. And then Bhagavad-Gita and Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam are the only two saviors. So after having read Bhagavad-Gita, not that I understand fully, but still the little what I've understood, Krishna giving us the guarantee, Sarvdharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, abandon all sorts of religion and come to me, I will remove all your sins and you don't need to fear. So I feel so happy that like there is no guarantee we buy anything, there's no guarantee, but Krishna is still giving us the guarantee, surrender unto me and I will take care of everything. So what more do we want? And then listening to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, activities of the Lord, it gives us so much pleasure. And that is the true, perfection of life. And we see all these celebrities, they're making so much money and then trying to, I don't think I have got a clue what people they are getting up to, but we see how miserable their lives are, still having all this material opulence because they don't know who is the enjoyer, who is the controller, who is the owner of everything. And even raising money for the temple, it's a shame to see how some people are so attached to the wealth, despite knowing that it belongs to Krishna only. He's the only one who's given it to us. And still people don't want to part with it, So I think it comes with faith, because if we understand Krishna reciprocates whatever we do for Krishna, Krishna reciprocates. We don't have to even ask Krishna for anything. He's providing us with everything. So I think it is important, we are reading Bhagavad-Gita and Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam to have that sort of faith in Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, this way there's a saying that it came about. Now we understand more Krishna. Srila Prabhupada explained to us that they came about. So, he allowed them to come about. Would say Krishna allowed them to come about for comparison purposes. So you could see, this is Vedas and this is Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. And that is the real essence of the Vedas, the cream of the Vedas. And so don't need to go into all that detail. Just taste the cream and you'll get the nourishment from that. But Krishna also knew that although like Narad Muni is condemning the Vedas and the faults in the Vedas, but deep down they know that not everybody will jump straight onto Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Some people will be still more interested in the lower literature compared to the Bhagavatam. So that there has to be something for everyone, right? There has to be a first class, second class, third class system. So because not everybody mentally, physically, or in terms of time, but not in this case the other way around. But not everybody will be interested in that literature straight away, because they're probably not purified like that. So that they can come to devotional service, they can come to hearing Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So there has to be something for everyone to benefit.
Yeah, but I'm thinking, Prabhuji, there must be a reason, good reason to do that. So, because they must know that people will be so fallen, so they will need to rise to certain level before, like you said, before coming to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam.
Yes.
So, and also, second question: have you ever read other Vedas? Because we haven't read anything, so we don't know.
I've never even seen the Vedas, to be honest.
Yeah, because now listening about it, and it's curiosity, so what is in the other Vedas? Then, they were like...
We have Chaturvedis and Trivedis. I think a lot. I think maybe people who are in that field, do. But Vedas, they're not just one book. I mean, Mahabharata is part of the Vedas. It's not just one book. It's like a big room full of books. Right? It's a lot of, you can't read it in one lifetime. Not in our lifetime. You can't get through. You need to first, and also they are written, from what I understand, in a form that it has in a coded form. So it has to be decoded, and you have to understand how to decode the Vedas. Right?
Yes.
So it's very boggling.
Amazing.
First, you have to spend many years trying to understand how to decode, and then.
But am I right? Germans, they said, well, they took our Vedas, and they got so much knowledge from. There's so many, foreigners who have decoded. They have learned how to understand the Vedas. So.
The Pandavas, you say?
Germans.
The Germans, sorry.
Yes.
They use people. Yes,
Yeah.
the Germans. I mean, even the English. They got people to translate for them. You know, right? Yes, yes. That they use, like I said, the Muslims, they destroyed them, but then the English and the other religions, they came about, and they actually, made use of those, because they are curious. People that they want to know what is this, what is these people, because they, end of the day, they wanted to destroy our culture. They want to destroy, just by burning them, you might not necessarily destroy. You want to know what are we following. If they can understand our thinking, then they want to give us something, an alternative, quick fix. What are we getting from here? They want to give us something else, and so that this is modernization, that they are giving us all, everything in modern terms, we call it modern. That we are following. People giving up religion, and they're following sense gratification. They want to give us, say, look, don't, don't think about this, or this doesn't have, what you're going to get out of this. Who's seen this, who's seen that, enjoy this. This is this is like very old. It's from the past, doesn't have any meaning anymore. Now people want to eat, drink, and be merry, and this is what the Western world is doing. This is what should all be doing. So that they try to convert people to their ways, and many people, they are easily attracted to that.
Even I used to wonder before I came to Krishna consciousness, like we used to pray and do all these sort of things. And when I go to work and all these English people, and you'll see them like they're doing well as well. Then I used to think, am I wasting my time? Like I'm spending an hour doing this, before I come to work. And these people, they don't even remember God, and they still got everything. But I'm glad we stuck to it, and like now we know it purifies us. God's name is purifying us. So yeah, it was not waste of time. So, but like when you see other people, that's why association is so important. So when you associate with mundane people, then you start doubting yourself. And I always used to ask my Prabhu, like, are we weak? Is that why we believe in God? Because some other people, they're not believing in God, and you still see they're okay. So yeah, no, it's mercy of Krishna.
Thank you, Mother.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Suresh Prabhu, would you like to say anything?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Just something very small which happened in my life. Like people, like my uncle is in Italy. He's a very Hare Krishna guy. So he told me that, you can't just come straight to Krishna. You have to basically in the beginning, it's a step by step, like religious books where you can only read step by step. So before I used to follow all the gods, and then it's like, okay, firstly, if you go to Shiva, ask Shiva, because I used to follow Shiva, and ask Shiva for Krishna's bhakti. Basically pray to Krishna that give me bhakti of, because he's always chanting in his head, like always praying to someone. Give me bhakti of someone who you praying to. So because they say Shiva always thinking of Radharani and Krishna. So that's why I used to say to them, like, okay, Shiva, like, give me bhakti of Krishna. And you can only come to Krishna consciousness when Krishna decided, when your time is right. You have to be on top of the ladder to get to Krishna. You can't just jump all the steps. You have to follow the step by step by step. Or like if you've been doing like previous life, you've been attached to Krishna, only then in the new life you're born and then you start Krishna straight away. These religious books, like obviously every single book you read, like teach you more and more and more. I'm on a learning curve, like learning step by step. So Hare Krishna, thank you for the lesson.
Thank you for your point, Prabhu. Yeah, thanks so much. Now we have Mahaprabhu. This is why the Gaudiya Vaishnav, we follow Lord Chaitanya. He's merciful. He gives Krishna freely to everyone. So this is why we follow him, the Panchatattva. Mahaprabhu makes the, Krishna actually came. He realized people were suffering, people weren't actually showing devotion. So that was one of the reasons he came to teach them how to do devotion, and he gave the devotion freely to everyone who was there. So we follow in the steps of Lord Chaitanya in the Gaudiya Vaishnava part of the parampara. We can get Krishna easily, and we get Krishna not necessarily directly. We get it through the parampara, to the representative, because his representative is here, our spiritual masters. So we follow them, and we can connect with Krishna. So so there's system to it. I mean, you're quite right, difficult, but if you follow this process, then it makes the system works, a scientific system. Is that right, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Hanji.
You're in the right place, basically.
Yes,
This is the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition is the way, is the because they've taught us that devotional service. We didn't know about devotional service, so devotional service is the way to know Krishna. Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita, Bhaktamana Vijanati. If you serve him, and we've understood our relationship with him, and Lord Chaitanya has told us that we are similar to Krishna, yet we are different, because we are minute, we are small, right? We are easily conditioned. So although we are spiritual, but we have many, we're not on the same level as Krishna, but we are part of Krishna, and we can get in touch with him, but through the mercy of Mahaprabhu and the parampara. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Nice to start, isn't it nice to start your day with the discussion on Krishna, and we are part of Krishna. Krishna is telling us in Bhagavatam, and we are very thankful, aren't we all, that in our past lives we had tried something, so we are in a different ladder than our previous lives. Actually, every day, every time we attend the classes, every time we chant, we pick up the beatbacks, chant even one round. If you're trying to chant one round, slowly try to chant 2 rounds, 3 rounds, and this is how Krishna brings the progress in our lives. And this is how we have been progressing in our past lives. Life after life, we have made some progress, and we've come here. And I think we should be happy that where we were and where we are now, and we shouldn't think too much about the past, how we started, how we are. As long as we are progressing, getting closer to Krishna, that is important. And yes, try to share the prasadam with anyone coming to your house. You don't have to tell them this is prasadam, but you're giving them mercy. Yes, because you are cooking everything and offering to Krishna, and it's being shared with anyone who comes to you, who meets you, and you can share the literatures. And I have realized that we don't have to worry about anything in life. Actually, Krishna is doing the magic. Whether it's in the form of, sometimes in the form of unhappiness or happiness in our lives. Because if we are having faith for Krishna, if we are living our lives in a way how God wants us to, because we have understood the basics of Krishna consciousness. What is Krishna consciousness? In the whole gist of Bhagavad-Gita is, Krishna says that abandon all religions and surrender unto me. And even all of our gods, Krishna, if he came as Ramchandraji, or Krishna himself, he came as Krishna in Vraja, in Vrindavan. They say, even if we say by mistake that Krishna, I surrender to you, Krishna takes note of that. This is what our Acharyas say. So if we say by mistake that Krishna surrendered to you, he takes note of that and give us bhakti. So just think, if we are happily surrendering to Krishna, how much note he's taking of our surrender. So yes, having faith in Krishna, having the faith that our bhakti is going to progress nicely day by day, is going to make our souls happy, our lives happy, and we can be helpful in contributing the peace in this world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, and we'll catch up on Wednesday. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Go.
Hare Hare Bol. Thank you, Bhakti.
Thank you, Mataji.
Give Bhakti.